Welcome to Smart Action Movies with Crow. Thank you for coming back again this week. For this week, Smart Action Movies my recommendation is Equilibrium. This is a movie that was made in 2002, and it is a movie that is set it's a dystopian future set after World War III. And to prevent a World War IV, they outlaw literature, music, and art. And also, they suppress their feelings with a drug called Prosium, and then also feeling is outlawed as well. And so they have a specialized police force called the Grammaton Clerics that go around arresting any sense offenders. That's people that are feeling. And so the main protagonist is Christian Bale. His character's name is Preston, and he has a partner who's Sean Bean, and I think it's Pressfield is his name. I don't know. Anyway, the movie has a really clever idea that I think is why I like it. They have a martial arts with guns idea that is called gun kata, and I think it's a clever idea, and it leads to some good action scenes. And you can tell this movie was made a little after The Matrix. There's definitely a Matrixy feel to this movie, but there was with a lot of movies that were made after The Matrix. I mean, they saw a movie that worked and they copied that style. But I really like this movie. I think it was really good. I loved it back when I saw it originally. Rewatching it, there was some things that I would knock on it, and I'll start with that first one. And this is a point to how I and points of how I grade things. My point system. I will knock off a half star for editing. The movie does drag a bit. I think it could have been cut down a little bit. I think it's an hour and 47 minutes. I think it could have been cut down to about an hour and 30, and it would have been a lot tighter, a lot cleaner, and better. But as far as the acting, I think Christian Bale does a good job. It's got Taye Diggs as well. He does a good job. Sean Bean does a good job. And so I think that the movie has definitely some great action scenes that make it worth watching, and it's got has a good plot. And as I've said before, my three drivers that I rate movies for, that I give a smart action movie for, is either protection of a loved one or weaker people, revenge of a loved one, weaker people, or freedom. And this movie has, of course, the freedom aspect. People are trying to get their freedom from the Grammaton Clerics, and the main bad guy, his name's they call him Father, and he's played by the guy that I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that's the Bruce in Braveheart. He does a real good job as the bad guy in this movie. But anyway, Christian Bale, Preston, the protagonist of this movie, he accidentally misses a dose of the Prosium, the drug that keeps you from feeling, and so he starts to feel and realize that he's on the wrong side, and then that's his progression through that as he tries to, as he slowly starts to feel and realize that he's on the wrong side. Another element that it has that's really good about this is, as with totalitarian systems, they always use the people to watch out for other people that are doing wrong, and so they have the people in this, all people watching out for sense offenders. And so Preston is living with his son and his daughter, and he's constantly worried that his son is picking up on him feeling, and so it's got this really good Big Brother vibe where Big Brother's always watching, and you don't know who is on and the good guys are called the Resistance, and you don't know who's in the Resistance and who's loyalist to the father and the regime. And so anyway, so it's a good movie. I give it 4 stars. I think that it would have gotten, like I said, I would probably give it a 4.5 stars if the editing would have been a little bit tighter, if it would have been a little less long, and just a little, there were scenes that were dragged on that didn't need to, but it's not a big knock. I definitely think it's worth seeing. I definitely recommend seeing it. As I said, some of the action scenes are really cool. Definitely for the first time, I loved it the first time I saw it. Now I've seen it several times, and so it wasn't as great watching it the 50th time or whatever. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it was still, I definitely recommend this movie. Um, the plot, the action, all good. The actors good. It's got some solid actors, and the music's fine. I didn't talk about the music in the last two movies I did, which I should have, but as I go, as I learn, I will get better and tighter with these recommendations. But I would recommend you go out and see Equilibrium. It was made in 2002. Good action, and it's got some clever action scenes that I think make it worth seeing. And thank you so much for Smart Action Movies. This is Crow, and I will see you next time.